What if I told you that 2,000 years ago, wealthy Romans were walking around with the ancient equivalent of a smartwatch, a device that made them look sophisticated, technologically advanced, and incredibly wealthy, even when they had no clue how to actually use it? Today, we read diving deep into one of history's most fascinating examples of ancient tech adoption: portable sundials in Rome. These weren't just timepieces. They were status symbols, conversation starters, and the ultimate flex of the ancient world. Stick around, because this story reveals how human nature has changed one bit when it comes to our obsession with the latest gadgets. Portable sundials, or pocket sundials, as historians sometimes call them, were essentially the smartphones of ancient Rome. But here is the kicker. Just like how many people buy the latest iPhone for status rather than using every feature, many Romans carried these intricate timepieces without fully understanding how they worked. To understand the portable sundial phenomenon, we need to start with the bigger picture. Sundials weren't new to the Roman world. They'd been around for centuries. The Egyptians and Babylonians had been using them long before Rome was even a major power. But around the 3rd century BCE, something revolutionary happened. Greek and Roman craftsmen began creating sundials small enough to carry around. These weren't the massive stone monuments you might picture in a villa garden. We're talking about devices that could fit in your palm, intricate bronze or ivory pieces, often beautifully decorated and incredibly sophisticated. Archaeological evidence shows us dozens of these devices, found across the Roman Empire from Britain to Syria. The craftsmanship is extraordinary. Some featured folding mechanisms, others had chains for wearing around the neck, and many included detailed engravings that served both decorative and functional purposes. The technology was genuinely impressive. These sundials could account for seasonal variations, different latitudes, and some even included lunar calendars. Roman engineers had figured out how to miniaturize complex astronomical calculations into a device you could slip into your toga. Owning a portable sundial in ancient Rome was like owning a Rolex today, except even more exclusive. These devices were expensive. We're talking about the cost of several months' wages for an average worker. Only the wealthy elite could afford them, which made them instant status symbols. Roman writers of the time give us fascinating glimpses into this phenomenon. Plautus, the famous playwright, actually mocked sundial users in his comedies. He wrote about characters who would conspicuously check their sundials in public, making sure everyone noticed their expensive timepiece. In one play, a character complains, "The gods confound the man who first found out how to distinguish hours. Confound him, too, who in this place set up a sundial to cut and hack my days so wretchedly into small portions." Sound familiar? It's basically the ancient equivalent of someone constantly checking their Apple Watch to show it off, even when they don't really need to know the time. Archaeological evidence supports this theory. Many portable sundials found in excavations show clear signs of wear from handling, but not necessarily from functional use. The wear patterns suggest they were frequently taken out and displayed, but many show signs that their owners didn't properly understand how to align them for accurate timekeeping. This wasn't just vanity, it was social currency. In Roman society, appearing learned and sophisticated could open doors, create business opportunities, and elevate your social standing. Now let's get technical, because these devices were genuinely impressive pieces of engineering. The most sophisticated portable sundials were called navicula, or little ships, due to their boat-like shape. Here is how they worked. The device had a gnomon as the part that casts the shadow, which could be adjusted for different latitudes. This was crucial, because Rome's empire stretched from Scotland to Sudan, and sundials needed to account for the sun's different angles across these vast territories. The best examples included multiple hour scales for different seasons, compass roses for proper orientation, lunar calendars, even zodiacal scales for astronomical calculations. One stunning example is the Portici sundial, discovered in Pompeii. This ivory device includes not just time measurement, but also a perpetual calendar and astronomical calculator. It's like having a computer from 2,000 years ago. The precision required to create these devices was extraordinary. Roman craftsmen had to understand spherical geometry, astronomy, and advanced metalworking or carving techniques. Each sundial was essentially a customized piece of technology, calibrated for specific geographical regions. But here's the fascinating part: many of these sophisticated features went completely unused by their owners. This is where our story gets really interesting and surprisingly relatable. Historical evidence suggests that many Roman sundial owners had no idea how to properly use their expensive gadgets. Vitruvius, the famous Roman architect and engineer, wrote extensively about sundials in his architectural treatise. But he also complained that many people owned sundials without understanding basic principles like the need to orient them properly toward the sun or adjust for their geographical location. Think about it. These devices required understanding of cardinal directions. You needed to know true north, seasonal adjustments, latitude corrections, proper shadow reading techniques. Many portable sundials found by archaeologists show signs of misuse. Scratches and wear marks in wrong places, modifications that would make them less accurate, and damage consistent with people trying to fix them without understanding how they worked. It's like finding a smartphone with the screen cracked because someone tried to hammer nails with it. Roman satirists had a field day with this phenomenon. Martial wrote epigrams mocking people who carried sundials but couldn't tell time with them. Petronius included a character in his Satyricon who ostentatiously displays his sundial while consistently getting the time wrong. This wasn't just about individual ignorance. It reveals something profound about technology adoption in any era. The parallel to modern technology adoption is uncanny. Just like today's gadget enthusiasts, who buy the latest tech for status rather than utility, wealthy Romans purchased portable sundials as social signaling devices. Consider these similarities: expensive price points that excluded most people, complex functionality that intimidated users, social pressure to own the latest model, public display behaviors to show ownership, limited practical utility for many owners. This phenomenon wasn't limited to sundials. Romans did the same thing with other technologies. Expensive imported silk that they didn't know how to care for properly, complex mechanical devices they couldn't maintain, and exotic spices they didn't know how to use in cooking. The portable sundial craze also reveals Roman social anxieties. The empire was creating new wealth rapidly, and people needed ways to distinguish themselves from those below them on the social ladder. A sophisticated timepiece suggested education, refinement, and cosmic understanding, even when the owner possessed none of these qualities. Interestingly, archaeological evidence shows that portable sundials were most common in frontier regions and newly wealthy areas of the empire, places where social hierarchies were still being established, and people were most anxious to prove their sophistication. So what can we learn from Rome's portable sundial phenomenon? First, that human nature hasn't changed much in 2,000 years. We still buy technology for status, struggle with complex devices, and use gadgets as social signaling tools. Modern studies show that most smartphone users only utilize about 10% of their device's capabilities, remarkably similar to Roman sundial usage patterns. We carry incredibly sophisticated computers in our pockets and use them primarily for basic functions, just like Romans carried astronomical calculators to show off at dinner parties. The portable sundial also represents an important step in technology miniaturization and personal devices. These were among the first truly portable personal technology items in human history. They paved the way for mechanical clocks, watches, and eventually the personal devices we carry today. Today, Roman portable sundials are prized museum pieces and collector's items. Ironically, they've come full circle once again, serving primarily as status symbols rather than functional timepieces, just as they did 2,000 years ago. The story of portable sundials in ancient Rome reminds us that technology adoption has always been about more than mere utility. Whether it's a Roman senator showing off his ivory sundial, or someone today flashing their latest smartwatch, we humans have always used technology to signal our place in the world. These ancient devices represent a fascinating intersection of genuine innovation and timeless human vanity. They were marvels of engineering that many people couldn't properly use. Expensive gadgets that served more as conversation starters than tools, and status symbols that revealed as much about their owners' insecurities as their wealth. What do you think? Are we really so different from those sundial-toting Romans? Let me know in the comments what modern gadgets you think serve more as status symbols than practical tools.